Chapter 1. The Arrival. The heavy iron gates creaked open, revealing the stark entrance of Briarwood Maximum Security Prison, where shadows loomed like ghosts of regret. Maria's heart raced as she stepped inside, her pulse echoing the clang of the steel doors behind her. The chill of the sterile environment seeped into her bones, a far cry from the warm comfort of her nursing days. As she stood alongside her fellow inmates, the air thick with apprehension, Leo's voice cut through the silence, drawing her attention. "We're all just here for a reason, right?" he quipped, his streetwise bravado a stark contrast to the looming sorrow. Across the yard, Alex observed with a calculating gaze, while Tasha held back tears, thinking of her children. Jamal, a quiet storm of resilience, glanced at each face, sensing their shared tumult. Together, they formed an unspoken bond, their stories intertwining in the shadows of the prison walls. Chapter 2. The Weight of Regret. Maria's voice trembles as she recounts the moment that altered her life forever. A split-second decision during a high-pressure situation as a nurse. "I was supposed to save lives, but I failed," she admits, her tone heavy with remorse. The sterile smell of disinfectant still lingers in her memories, a stark contrast to the cold, unyielding bars of her current home. Her past becomes a haunting echo, each recollection an anchor pulling her deeper into despair. Every day she grapples with guilt and self-loathing, reminded of the patients she could not help. As the clang of the prison doors rings in her ears, she reflects on her children, innocent lives affected by her choices. In her quiet moments, Maria dreams of redemption, yearning for a time when she can return to the healing profession she once cherished. "I just want to make things right," she whispers, embodying the profound weight of regret that hangs in the air. Chapter 3. Streets and Survival. Leo sits on a worn bench in the prison yard, sunlight filtering through the chain-link fence, revealing the tattoos that tell stories of his street life. "I grew up hustling," he begins, his voice gravelly with experience. "Survival was my game." As he recalls his life before prison, listeners hear the distant echoes of sirens and voices, a world filled with danger and adrenaline. He narrates anecdotes of navigating the concrete jungle, where every decision could mean life or death. Leo speaks candidly about the friends he lost to violence, each one a stark reminder of the risks he took. "I thought I was untouchable," he says, reflecting on the night that landed him here. Yet amidst tales of darkness, there's a flicker of hope as he describes how prison has taught him resilience. "I may have made mistakes, but now I'm learning to survive in a different way." Chapter 4. The Quiet Strategist. Alex leaned back against the cold concrete wall of his cell, his mind racing through memories of the intricate web of lies he'd spun to achieve success on the outside. A former fraudster, he had always calculated every move, each scheme meticulously planned, until the law caught up with him. Now, in this place of steel and shadows, he couldn't escape the consequence of his choices. "Survival is a game," he mused, his voice low and even. In this unforgiving environment, Alex applied his analytical mind to navigate prison life. He formed alliances with fellow inmates, always evaluating who could be trusted. Each day, he told himself, was another chance to learn. Coping mechanisms replaced the thrill of deceit. In group sessions, he shared his past, each confession peeling back layers of his carefully constructed facade. As Alex's plan for redemption took shape, he found that understanding himself was the first step towards freedom. Chapter 5. The Mother's Heart. Tasha sits on her bunk, the faded photograph of her children worn from countless touches. A single tear glides down her cheek as she reminisces about family dinners filled with laughter and the chaotic bliss of bedtime stories. The prison walls feel suffocating, a stark reminder of the choices that led her here. She shares her story, how a moment of weakness spiraled into a life she never intended. "I thought I was protecting them," she says, her voice trembling. "I wanted to give them a better life." Her longing for motherhood reverberates through the cell block like a haunting melody. Each day is a battle against guilt, the unbearable weight of separation pressing heavily on her heart. Yet amidst the pain, Tasha clings to hope. She dreams of the day she will hold her children again, vowing to be a better mother, a better person. The sound of distant laughter echoes, a reminder of what she longs to reclaim. Chapter 6. The Innocent Con. Jamal's story begins with the resounding clang of a prison door, an echo of a life stolen away. Once a vibrant young man with dreams of becoming a filmmaker, he now finds himself behind bars for a crime he didn't commit. As he recounts that fateful night, an innocent bystander in a tragic mix-up, his voice trembles with a blend of anger and disbelief. The feeling of helplessness washes over him, trapped in a system that feels indifferent to his plight. Yet, despite the darkness of his circumstances, Jamal clings to hope. He immerses himself in books and creative writing, using storytelling as a means of escape. "Every word I write is a step toward reclaiming my life," he declares, determination lacing his tone. Surrounded by fellow inmates, he fosters a silent bond of understanding, proving that even in despair, the pursuit of justice and truth can flourish amidst the hardest of trials. Chapter 7: Daily Life Behind Steel Bars. The day begins with the clang of steel doors reverberating through the cold gray corridors, signaling the start of another monotonous day. Inmates shuffle into the cafeteria, where the smell of unidentifiable food mingles with the stale air. Maria sits at a worn table, sharing half-hearted jokes with Leo, a momentary escape from their grim reality. Each day unfolds with a predictable cadence: meals, work shifts in the laundry room, and exercise in the small yard. The rhythmic call of guards echoes overhead, punctuating their conversations. In this harsh environment, routines become both solace and punishment. The sound of shuffling feet, whispered conversations, and the rustle of metal serve as a constant reminder of their confinement. Yet within this rigidity, moments of camaraderie and quiet resilience flourish. Quick smiles exchanged, a shared glance, or an understanding nod that reinforces their fragile bonds of survival amidst the persistent weight of despair. Chapter 8: Therapy and Transformation. In the stark confines of the group therapy room, contrasting emotions swirl like the damp air. Maria sits cross-legged on a worn-out mat, her heart pounding as she prepares to share the burden of guilt that weighs heavily on her soul. The counselor's gentle voice pierces the tension, inviting each one to speak their truth. Leo fidgets beside her, recalling how his childhood shaped him into a hustler, a defense mechanism against a world that never offered him a chance. Tasha breathes in deeply as she recounts sleepless nights spent dreaming of her children's laughter, now a bittersweet echo. As stories unfold, the energy shifts and unexpected camaraderie blooms. Alex, the strategist, offers surprising insights about vulnerability, while Jamal, the innocent con, stirs emotions by voicing the fear that hangs over each of them. What happens when they finally step outside these walls? Through shared pain and honesty, they begin to sow the seeds of transformation, learning that healing can start in the most unlikely of places. Chapter 9: Unexpected Allies. In the unforgiving confines of the prison, unlikely friendships began to blossom among the 5 narrators. Maria often found solace in conversations with Tasha during yard time, sharing stories about their children and aspirations for a brighter future. Leo, with his street smarts, took Alex under his wing, guiding him through the complexities of prison life while exchanging calculated strategies for coping with their environment. Jamal, often reserved due to the weight of his wrongful conviction, felt a sense of kinship when Leo initiated discussions about dreams and freedom. This newfound camaraderie became a lifeline, offering support through moments of despair. They learned to lean on one another, sharing laughter amidst the bleak surroundings. In the shared warmth of these unexpected alliances, the inmates discovered not just survival, but the power of connection, their bonds forged in shadows growing ever stronger, illuminating paths of hope within the darkest corners of their lives. Chapter 10: Poetry in the Yard. The sun dipped low, casting a warm glow across the prison yard, transforming the stark concrete into a canvas of shared dreams. An air of anticipation buzzed among the inmates as Leo kicked off the poetry slam contest, his voice resonating with vibrant energy. One by one they stepped forward, bearing their souls through verse. Maria delivered a poignant piece about love lost, her trembling voice softening the hardened atmosphere. Alex's calculated words illustrated a life of choices and consequences, leaving the audience in reflective silence. Tasha poured out her maternal longing in verses that wrapped around her fellow inmates like a warm embrace. Lastly, Jamal's powerful performance, a plea for justice, echoed off the prison walls, igniting the crowd with hope. As the last lines hung in the air, they realized they weren't just sharing poetry. They were forging connections in their darkest moments, united by their vulnerabilities and the strength found in their shared humanity. Chapter 11. Memories of Home. As the steel doors clanged shut and the echoes faded, the inmates found themselves lost in reverie, transported momentarily to the warmth of home. Maria's voice trembled as she recalled family dinners, the comforting aroma of her mother's cooking filling the kitchen, and the sound of laughter that once rang through the hallways. Leo, his voice layered with sadness, spoke of long nights spent under city lights with friends, their camaraderie a balm against the harshness of life. Tasha whispered about tender moments with her children, bedtime stories and warm hugs, the essence of motherhood that felt distant now. Each memory unveiled deep-seated emotions, weaving a tapestry of love, regret, and longing. As they shared these fragments of their pasts, the walls faded away, and for a brief moment, the prison felt an ocean away, leaving only the bittersweet taste of nostalgia behind. Chapter 12. The Nature versus Concrete Struggle. As the sun rises beyond the prison walls, the morning light filters through barred windows, casting long shadows across the concrete floor. Tasha sits on her bunk, gazing out at the distant trees that surround the facility, their lush green foliage a stark reminder of freedom she longs for. The sounds of birds chirping infiltrate her thoughts, a natural melody that contrasts sharply with the droning echo of steel doors slamming shut. "Out there it feels alive," she whispers to Maria, who sits nearby, reflecting on her own memories of picnics in the park and spontaneous road trips. Each inmate's recollection becomes a thread in a tapestry of longing, a window to the world outside, alive with possibilities. As they talk, the harshness of prison life momentarily fades, replaced by visions of laughter, family, and warmth. Yet the reality looms heavy. This stark prison is their existence, a barrier to nature's unrestrained beauty, a daily reminder of what they hope to reclaim. Chapter 13. Seeds of Redemption. As the new rehabilitation program unfolds, the air within the prison begins to shift, tinted with a spark of hope. Maria, motivated by her past mistakes, joins a workshop on emotional healing, where she learns to articulate her regrets through art. The sound of brushes on canvas fills her cell, transforming her anguish into visual narratives of growth. Meanwhile, Leo participates in a cooking class, rediscovering his passion for food and sharing tales of his grandmother's recipes. His laughter resonates in the kitchen, reflecting newfound camaraderie with fellow inmates. Alex immerses himself in a business seminar, mapping out a future beyond bars, a stark contrast to his life of deceit. Each inmate confronts their trauma through this program, sharing poignant moments during group therapy. They weave their stories together, each thread a testament to resilience. Hope sprouts like wildflowers in the cracks of concrete, fostering a sense of unity and purpose in their confined world.